Hello students, this is Dr. Pallavi Gupta. The topic for the day is electoral machinery. Electoral machinery means who are the administrative officer or who are the officers who are involved in the conduct of election. So today we will discuss about the introduction of the electoral machinery, chief electoral officers, district election officers, electoral registration officers, assistant electoral registration officer, enumeration and enumerator supervisor, booth level officers, returning officer, assistant returning officer, presiding officer and polling officers, counting supervisors and counting assistant, counting supervisor and counting assistant observer. These are the officers who are involved in the election and known as a electoral machinery. You can see the hierarchy of the electoral machinery. At the top there is Election Commission of India, and then Chief Electoral Officer, District Election Officer, Enumerator, and BLO. BLO is the at grassroots level. These are some images which can show about the electoral machinery who are involved in the take care of the EVM, or they and the some police officers or the other electoral officers are carrying some election materials. So these are the images which are showing how many persons are involved there. So let us discuss first the introduction about the electoral machinery. Apart from the Secretariat of the Election Commission at New Delhi, Election Commission has no independent electoral machinery in the field. Means to conduct election there is no independent electoral machinery. The commission undertake the preparation and revision of electoral rolls and conducts election to parliament and state legislature with the help of the administrative machinery of the state government. Dr. V.R. Ambedkar, chairman of the drafting committee, observed during the debate on draft article 289, which is known as a article 324, that the provision of independent machinery to the election commission would really be duplicating the machinery and creating unnecessary administrative expenses, which could be easily avoided by providing the commission that commission can borrow machinery from the provincial government, such clerical and ministerial agency as may be necessary for the purpose of carrying out its function at the time of election. And such staff could return to the provincial government when the election work was over. Another member in the Constituent Assembly, Mr. or Shri K.M. Munshi, also observed that it was neither possible nor advisable to have a kingdom within a kingdom. Therefore, it was provided in Article 324, subclause 6, that the president or the governor of a state shall, when it is requested by the election commission, the president and governor of a state shall make available to the election commission or to a regional commissioner such staff as may be necessary for the discharge of the function conferred on the election commission under this clause. There were two controversies regarding the obligation of the president or the governor under Article 324 subclause 6 to provide administrative officer as a election machinery, and it is not free from controversy, and there was not that much cooperation from the state government employees, and in that case, in number of the cases, central government sent their own employees to the other state to conduct the election. We can take example of the state of Assam, where the adequate cooperation from the government employee was not given because of the ongoing agitation in the state on the foreigner issues, and the large number of the employees of the central government and of the state government of some of the neighboring states had to be deployed on the election duties in Assam. Uh, but now it is settled, it is well settled that the president and the governor of a state are obliged under Article 324 subclause 6 to make available to the election commission such staff as may be necessary for the conduct of election not only in the state concerned but in the other state as well. Another controversy is related to the term such staff. What is the meaning of such staff? So, regarding this term such staff, the election commission move a writ petition before the Supreme Court for its intervention in the matter to give the interpretation of this term such staff. Now it is well settled that the regular election machinery in the field in each state mainly consists of the chief electoral officers, district election officers, electoral registration officers, assistant electoral registration officers, returning officers, and assistant returning officers. At the time of preparation and revision of electoral rolls and the conduct of election, the electoral machinery gets augmented by the induction of the hundreds of thousands of staff at lower level to perform duties as enumerators, enumeration supervisors, presiding officers of polling station, polling officers, counting supervisors, and counting assistant, and so on. At the time of the 16th general election to the House of People held in May 2014, nearly 10 million staff, civilian, local police, and central police forces were deployed on polling and counting duties and for maintenance of law and order and to provide security. Chief Electoral Officers. The electoral machinery in each state and union territory is headed by a chief electoral officers. To supervise the preparation, revision, and correction of all electoral rolls and the conduct of all election to the parliament and state legislature, chief electoral officer is appointed under section 13 subclause A, 13A subclause 2 of Representative of People Act 1950 and section 20 of RP Act, means Representation of People Act 1951. Before 1956, there was no statutory status was given to the chief electoral officer, but after 1955, to give statutory status, this act were amended in 1956, and accordingly statutory status is given to chief electoral officers. and it was provided that there shall be a chief electoral officer for each state, who shall be such officer of the government as election commission may, in consultation with the government, designate or nominate in this behalf. He shall supervise the preparation, revision, and correction of all electoral rolls and conduct of all election to Parliament and state legislature. The chief electoral officers are senior officer of state government. Normally it is like that only. Originally, the state government used to nominate some senior officer belonging to the national civil services or higher judicial services of the state as the chief electoral officers, and the election commission used to notify their appointment under section 13A of the 1950 Act. Such chief electoral officers were normally functioning on part-time basis in almost all the state. But now commission has dispensed with the practice of appointing the chief electoral officers belonging to the judicial services, and they are now appointed from the national civil services alone, because it is observed that the function of the chief electoral officers are essentially administrative in nature. In almost all the state, the chief electoral officers are now functioning on full-time basis under the superintendent's direction and control of the election commission. They are not given any additional function and duties under the state government. Chief electoral officers are appointed as secretary to the election department of the state government, or we can say they are appointed as secretaries to the election department of the state government concerned, to enable them to exercise necessary financial administrative power in relation to the officers and staff working in their office and in respect of other election expenses in the state. Every chief electoral officer has a separate office at the state level manned by certain officers variously known as additional chief electoral officers, joint chief electoral officers, deputy chief electoral officers, and assistant chief electoral officers. These additional officers, however, do not have any statutory standing. So this is the status of chief electoral officers. District election officers. From the beginning, such electoral arrangement in the districts were supervised by the head of the district administration. But prior to 1966, district election officers were not having any statutory responsibility for the purpose. In 1966, the amendment were made in the RP Act 1950 and RP Act 1951, and the statutory status has been given to them. It was provided that there shall be a district election officer for each district in a state, who shall be such officer of the state government as may be designated or nominated by the election commission in consultation with the government of the state under section 13AA subclause A of 1950 Act. Since 2013, no, it's not 13, since 2003, the commission or the election commission appoint district election officer in union territories also under the same section. Here I by mistake I have written since 2000. It is in fact 2003. There can be more than one district election officer. If the commission is satisfied that the function of the office of the district election officer cannot be performed satisfactorily by one officer in any district, in that way in a district there can be more than one district election officer. The general practice is to appoint district election officer, that the election commission had normally designated the head of the district administration, variously known as the collector, deputy commissioner, or the district magistrate in various states, as the district election officer of the district concerned. Electoral registration officer. For the preparation and revision of electoral rolls, there shall be an officer known as electoral registration officer. As the electoral rolls are prepared assembly-wise, constituencies-wise, both for the parliamentary and assembly election in all states, electoral registration officers are appointed only for assembly constituencies in these states. Separate electoral registration officers are appointed for parliamentary constituencies. Separate electoral registration officers are appointed for council constituencies in the states having legislative council. All these electoral registration officers are such officers of the government or of a local authority as the election commission may appoint in consultation with the government of a state in which the constituency is situated. Under section 13B subclause 1 of 1950 Act, that is known as RP Act. Normally, the heads of the revenue subdivision, known as revenue divisional officer, subdivisional officer, subdivisional magistrate, or the officer of equivalent rank in the subdivisions are appointed as electoral registration officer for the assembly constituencies. Now I will discuss about assistant electoral registration officers. The election commission may appoint one or more persons as assistant electoral registration officer to assist an electoral registration officer in performance of his function under section 13C subclause 1 of RP Act 1950. Each assistant electoral registration officer shall be competent to perform all or any of the function of the electoral registration officer under section 13C subclause 2 of RP Act 1950. Enumerators and enumeration supervisor. Here it should be enumerator and enumeration supervisor. To prepare the electoral rolls, the electoral registration officer employ a large number of enumerators to undertake house to house enumeration of eligible electors for the purpose of preparation of draft roll. So for the purpose of supervision of their work, a large number of enumeration supervisors are also appointed by the electoral registration officer, meaning thereby house to house to count the electors and to verify them and to make the draft rolls. For this purpose, enumerators are appointed, and to supervise their work, enumerator supervisors are appointed. In most of the states, regular employees of the state government and of the local authorities, generally school teachers, are employed for these duties on the part-time basis. In some state, special recruitment of staff is also made for this job for by creating some temporary posts for the purpose. Booth level officer, known as a BLO. Election Commission devoted attention in 2006 to cleansing of the electoral rolls and for the purpose of house to house verification of elector. So for this purpose, Election Commission introduced a new scheme or new concept of booth level officer in the electoral machinery at the polling station level. Under the new scheme, the Commission embarked upon the exercise of appointing BLO for each polling station in a constituency. Such BLOs are employees of the local government, semi-government officials like teachers, Anganwadi workers, patwaris, armies, lekpals, panchayat secretaries, village level workers, electricity bill readers, postmen, auxiliary nurses and midwives, health workers, midday meal worker, contract teachers, corporation tax collector, and clerical staff in urban areas. Being familiar with the local elector by reason of generally being voters in the same polling area, they assist in updating the roll using their local knowledge. In fact, BLO is a representative of Election Commission at the grassroots level who plays a important role in the process of roll revision and collecting actual field information with regard to the roll corresponding to polling area assigned to them. The BLO have been authorized by the Election Commission to receive claims and objection, make local inquiry on such claim and objection by making visits to the household concerned and keep themselves in constant touch with the electoral registration officer for the purpose of keeping the electoral roll up to date. Nowadays, their services are also being extremely used at the time of conduct of election for the various jobs like distribution of official identity slips to electors, identification of voters at the time of poll and so on, and they are paid a nominal remuneration by way of honorarium for performing the above function. Returning officer. The kingpin for the conduct of any election is the returning officer, or we can say returning officer is the kingpin of the conduct of any election. Law provides that there shall be a returning officer at all times for a parliamentary assembly or council constituency. However, for an election to the Council of State or to a state legislative council by member of the Legislative Assembly of the state, a returning officer shall be appointed for each election under Section 21 of RP Act 1951. He shall be such officer of the government or of a local authority as the Election Commission may designate or nominate in consultation with the government of the state. There is no legal objection to the same officer being designated or nominated as a returning officer for more than one constituency. Means a returning officer can be returning officer of more than one constituency under Section 21 of RP Act 1951. It shall be his general duty to do all such acts and things as may be necessary for effectually conducting the election in the manner as prescribed under Section 24 of the RP Act 1951. 1. The election, there is a trend that the election commission has normally designated the heads of the district administration, variously known as the collector, deputy commissioner, deputy magistrate, district magistrate in different state at the returning officer for the parliamentary constituencies falling in the district concerned. The nature of the duties of the returning officer while conducting the scrutiny of the nomination and counting of the vote is of a quasi-judicial nature or quasi-judicial character, as it is held in the case of Pritam Singh versus Ranjit Singh, AIR 1965, State of Punjab, and then Ranjit Singh versus Pritam Singh, AIR 1966, Supreme Court. So, the scrutiny of the nomination is a kind of quasi-judicial work. Now, I will discuss assistant returning officer. The Election Commission can appoint one or more assistant returning officers to assist him in the performance of his function. The assistant returning officer shall also be the officer of government or of a local authority under section 22 subclause 1 of RP Act 1951. Under the law, every assistant returning officer shall be competent to perform all or any act of the function of the returning officer, although it is subject to control of returning officer. He may not perform the function of scrutiny of nomination unless and until the returning officer is prevented from performing this function. Presiding officer and polling officer. The poll at the polling station is taken under the charge of a presiding officer. He is assisted by such number of polling officers as are considered necessary. Under the instruction of the Election Commission, a polling party for a single parliamentary or assembly election should normally consist of a presiding officer and 4 polling officers. For a simultaneous election to the House of People and the State Legislative Assembly, the strength of the polling party is augmented by the addition of one more polling officer. Additional polling officer may also be appointed where the number of the electors assigned to a polling station is quite large, that is more than 1400. The appointment of presiding officer and the polling officer for each polling station is made by the district election officer under section 26 subclause 1 of the RP Act 1951. In the case of Union Territories, also the appointment of polling parties is made by the district election officer. At the election to the Council of State or the State Legislative Council by member of State Legislative Assembly, the returning officer himself function as the presiding officer and appoint the polling officer to assist him under section 29 of RP Act 1951. The same person may be appointed as presiding officer for more than one polling station in the same premises. Means presiding officer can be presiding officer for more than one polling station under section 26 subclause 1 of the RP Act 1951. It shall be the general duty of the presiding officer to keep order at the polling station and to see the poll is fairly taken. The duty of polling station officer is to assist the presiding officer in the performance of his function. A polling officer shall be competent to perform all or any of the function of the presiding officer if so directed. by him. For this, the law is mentioned under section 27, 28, and 26, subclause 2. It is the general practice. It is the general practice that the teachers of the government or the government-aided education institution are deployed on election duties in large number in the almost all the states. Unilateral appointment of the polling parties. In a case known as the Election Commission of India versus St. Mary School and others, 2008, and the case is KP Roy versus R. Rudri, District Election Officer, Howrah, AIR 1971, Calcutta High Court, held that the district election officer can appoint presiding officer and polling officer unilaterally, and that no consent of the officer so appointed is necessary. If any officer so appointed fails to perform election duty without reasonable cause, he shall do so at the peril of penal consequences under section 134 of the RP Act 1951, which makes the breach of the official duty a cognizable electoral offence punishable with fine up to rupees 500. In the case of the Election Commission of India versus St. Mary School and others, in this case, it was held that non-teaching staff of the school can be put on such duties on any day or at any time if permissible in law. So this is all about the unilateral appointment of polling parties. Now, the another officer in the electoral machinery is counting supervisor and counting assistant. As the known says that under section 64 of RP Act 1951, the counting supervisors are appointed to count the votes under the supervision of the returning officer. The assistant returning officer is also competent under the law to count the votes. In particular, in a parliamentary constituency where the votes are counted assembly segment wise, it is the assistant returning officer for the parliamentary constituencies who count the vote. The returning officer is authorized by law to appoint such person as he may need to assist him in counting. These persons are known as the counting supervisors and counting assistant. Normally, Normally at each counting table there is one counting supervisor and two counting assistant. Irrespective of the whether the votes are counted by means of ballot papers, where the voting has been taken by means of ballot papers and ballot boxes, or by means of electronic voting machine, where the votes had been recorded by means of such machines. Observers. Election should not only be free and fair but also seems to be so conducted. To ensure that political parties and candidates carry on their election campaign according to enacted laws and agreed norms and do not indulge in extravagant election expenditure, the electoral and administrative machinery functions in non-partisan member in non-partisan manner. The poll is conducted according to the prescribed procedures and counting is done in a smooth business-like manner. The Election Commission appoint under Section 20B of the 1950 RP Act of 1951 a special observer to keep a watch over the electoral proceedings in the constituencies, meaning thereby to keep a watch over the electoral proceedings, observers are appointed. These observers are the senior government officers. They are the rank of deputy secretaries to the government of India and above, and additional commissioner of the income tax and above, and are drawn both from the central and the state cadres. The election commission can appoint its own officer also as such observers. They act as the eye and ear of the election commissions in the field and report directly daily to the commission of any irregularities or malpractice observed by them. As in the case of Janak Singh versus Ram Das Roy and others, Supreme Court directed the election commission that they should give strict instructions to the observers not to accept undue hospitality of the state because they would unnecessarily compromise their objectivity and transparency. This is the case of 2005. Prior to August 1996, the observers were appointed by the Election Commission under its own inherent power under Article 324, and the institution of observer had no statutory recognition. But in August 1996, the law was amended to give the role of observer in the election proceedings a statutory recognition. A new section 20B was inserted in the Act RP Act of 1951 in 1996 to provide the statutory status. It provides that the election commission may nominate observer to watch the conduct of election or election in the constituency or a group of constituency and to perform such other function as may be interested to them. They were also given a statutory power to direct the returning officer to stop the counting of the votes at any time before the declaration of the result or not to declare the result of the election if in their opinion booth capturing had been taken place at a large number of polling station or at a counting center, or if any ballot papers have been unlawfully taken out of the custody of the returning officer, or where accidentally it has been destroyed or lost or were damaged or tampered with. Now the question is, who can be appointed as a observer? During certain election in the last decade, the election commission made it a practice of appointing normally two general observer and one election expenditure observer for a parliamentary constituencies. In an assembly election, they were generally appointed district wise. So this is all about the electoral machinery which is involved in the conducting of the free and fair election in a country. The next topic for the discussion is disciplinary control of election commission over election machinery. Thank you for watching me. Bye bye.